next talk, another different topic will be about media frame impact on people's understandings of wildfires. So social issue again, so thank you.
Hello. Hello. We are Marta Montagut and Castelló from Rovira and Virgili University. We come from communication studies. We are part of Asterisk Research Group, that it's a group from the Rovira Virgili University that have some research on risk communication related to petrochemical industries, food risk, and so on. We work several times in European projects as well as other research projects. We have some experience in that kind of issues. And now we are interested in media frame impact on people's understanding of wildfires. Okay, that's right. Is this or is this one? Okay. Our research now is how media and wildfire prevention and extinction was covered by media. We have three main research questions. That is, are media changing people's perception of wildfire prevention and mitigation? How media should offer a proper coverage for a better understanding of such a complex issue? And how can, and that's the point here, how can institutions and governments address to the media to get this more comprehensible coverage of the issue? Or methodological and theoretical background comes from the framing or the frame studies. What is a frame or a media frame? For us, a media frame is a way of presenting or interpreting an issue on the media in such a way that promote a definition of the problem of the issue, a causality, a moral evaluation, and a solution proposal to the issue. If you find in a news item, in a report, or any media product, a lexical choices, images, metaphors, and so on, that promotes that definition of the problem, of this causality, you have a frame. It's not the same to have a news item where the arsonist was the cause of the wildfire. You have one interpretation of the wildfire here, but if you have something about administration of woods or forests or a kind of more environmental focus, you have another kind of frame. It depending on where you put the focus, you have one frame or another frame. And our aim is how we arrive from media frames to the publics. Our research now is in that point. We have one stage that it's identifying media frames from the press, and a second stage about contrasting these media frames with environmental activism. This result is going to show next week in Valencia in a media conference about social and politics activisms. And the stage 3 that we are going to present here, that it's about how media frames have an impact on youth publics. We made a surveys over a sample of communication students, 163 surveys. It's a kind of experiment with our students. And the structure of this survey is one first wave, a preliminary understanding of wildfires. After that, we show to our students media frames and a TV report on coverage of TV3, TV3, that it's the Catalan public television. And after that, check what is the impact of these explanations in this previous understanding of about wildfires, and if there any change from one point to another one. And yes, we have changes. For example, when we ask to our students which is the principal cause of wildfires, in the first wave, as you can see, arsonists is a quite big cause. After climate change, that it's quite big too. Need for better management and negligence by people. But when you, after expose our students to media frames, that changed a lot. And as you can see, the negligence by people as a cause of the wildfires increases a lot from one to another survey. Another question, for example, who is more responsible to prevent and mitigate wildfires? This we have the preliminary results and after the second ones, and it's a change in the perception that who is more responsible to prevent and mitigate wildfires before and after the media exposure. The question is that media, frames in the media, affects the perception of people about wildfires, prevention, and mitigation methods. And maybe that's important for our research.
Well, what we have been studying right now is a question related to, for example, for the people, what is more important to prevent wildfires, how they understand the wildfires as a problem. So also how they attach responsibilities and how they change these responsibilities after this media framing exposure. So what we have been seeing by now is that they seem to change, to put more responsibility to the people after this media exposition. So that means that maybe media would be fostering a kind of responsibility of the people using the booths. I mean, hikers or people going, visitors, etc., or people celebrating barbecues in the booths or any other activity. These are still under scrutiny. I'm going. Other topics we are inquiring right now are related to this group is whether we need to understand the wildfire as something that we can't deal with, that this is a natural phenomenon, for example, or not. Can we, for example, find that they are part of the cycle of the boots, that, for example, this could be pretty close to a kind of resilient discourse on the wildfire issue, or we need to apply these control burns, how people is accepting these burns. Some people is more close to this type of action, or other people is fostering no intervention on the boots. The matter of urbanization near to the booths, are they a peril or a responsibility? So we are now in trying to get more information about more and more people surveyed. Our challenges are how to better organize experiments based on exposure of the people to different discourse, to different understandings, even policies or interventions, how we can have a better knowledge about people's understandings, and also related to journalism or to media, how can they deal better with this issue, not just as a success, as something, you know, an event, but also to have a more sensitive approach. But as you know, journalism is quite in a crisis, and we think that they won't be the solution. They won't do the job. At this time, we think more to focus on other sources like applications, even games, popular culture. So what we offer, we could offer this kind of qualitative approaches to discourse and society, and how the people understand the issue of wildfires. Also, we can elaborate, obviously, some communication leaflet or practices, guidelines for reaching better to different type of publics, because it is different from people. For example, we have people living in urban areas, but also people living in smaller towns or near booths, etc. Elaborating this type of materials, analyzing media routines, cooperation in designing communicative tools, or even risk communication procedures, or different stakeholders' views on the issue. What we expect is collaboration, so we are looking for partners, and mostly what we need is also funding and people, because we are mostly 2 people working in this issue in my department, and this is thanks to Fundació Pau Costa, because they suggested us 1 year ago, why not focusing on wildfires? So we are really newcomers. We have been reading about that during the last year, mostly, so we are learning a lot. What we need is people, but mostly resources to better design and include more people in our research, and also we can help with this type of issues, research, science understanding of issues and so on. So if you have any question or you have any proposal, you can please contact us. Thank you very much.